Colt Seavers is a stuntman working in some of the biggest films in Hollywood. Or at least he was until an almost career-ending injury. After his recovery, he is given the chance to work again, this time with the love of his life, Jody Marino, in the director's chair. Production of the film isn't going to go down without a hitch though, as the star of the film, Tom Ryder, is missing. Now, to save the production of the film and Jody's reputation, Colt must find the leading man before the studio cancels the film. This is The Fall Guy. The Fall Guy is a new action film from director David Leitch and stars Ryan Gosling, and is an adaptation of the video game Fall Guys. It's not? It's a show? From the 80s? Well, that makes more sense. I was gonna rip into this because this is a terrible video game adaptation. But when you tell me that, this is actually a pretty damn good movie. The Fall Guy is a rom-com I can kinda get behind. And not only that, this film is a love letter to the stuntman profession. Leading this film is Ryan Gosling and Emily Blunt. Funnily enough, this is a supporting actor reunion for Barbenheimer. I'm surprised they didn't use that in the marketing, but maybe I'm happy they didn't. And even more interesting, they were both nominated for Best Supporting Actor. Coincidences, man. That all aside, I think they are both great in this film. Ryan Gosling and Emily Blunt are some great actors on their own, but when you pair them together, you got a really strong relationship in this film. And I found myself to really care and be into the emotional struggles these two are facing within this film. And on top of it, they're both extremely funny. Other standouts of the film include Aaron Taylor Johnson as the actual star of the fake movie they're filming, Winston Duke as the best friend and pyrotechnic guy, and Hannah Waddingham as one of the most accurate portrayals of Hollywood producers I think I've ever seen. At least since Les Grossman. Speaking of Tropic Thunder, if you like that movie, you're going to really like this movie. Especially if you're the person who appreciates Tropic Thunder for more than just the fact that Robert Downey Jr. does blackface. How do I know that? Because that's me. I love Tropic Thunder for more than just the fact that Robert Downey Jr. does blackface. And I guess what? I really like this movie too. I'm actually a huge fan of movies about making movies, or movies that are set around the making of a movie. It's just something I'm a really big fan of for some reason. I can't really explain it. It just makes for a really interesting and unique setting to me. Unless you're this movie. I don't like this movie. The film still takes time out of its runtime to say, hey, we still need to shoot a movie. And you get a whole heck of a lot of movie production stuff in this film, and not just the stunt work. I'll get to that though. And those scenes don't feel wasted because those scenes are still important to the relationship of Colt and Jody. And I love that because it makes every scene in this film feel emotionally relevant to the whole story. You may see them filming the movie and think, oh, I'm just watching some behind the scenes footage now. But no, not really. You're seeing Colt and Jody's relationship get stronger after it dwindled a little bit. And I think that's really smart, and I was into it. But at the end of the day, this is still an action movie, and the action is pretty great. And so are the stunts. David Leitch is a former stuntman himself, so I would expect the stunts and action scenes in his movie to be pretty great. And from the films he's directed and produced, they all are pretty great. This film, however, it's still great, but it's great for its own unique reasons, I would say. The action and stunts in this film are actually pretty realistic, at least compared to some of other David Leitch's work. They seem like stunts that would be plausible almost to an average stuntman. And that little bit of realism does wonders for a film like this. I don't want action in this movie that feels on par with Fast and the Furious. I want action that feels real, and I think I got that exactly. David Leitch wanted to make a film that is a love letter to the profession that got him in Hollywood. And hey, I think he did a pretty dang good job. Now, if the beginning of this video was any indication, I have never seen the Fall Guy show, so I can't really criticize whether or not it's a faithful adaptation. But don't worry, I'm sure there's some 40 or 50-year-old who saw the show in the 80s and watched this film and went, "What? He's in love with a female director? This movie's woke! Oh, and by the way, if you at all like the song I Was Made for Lovin' You by Kiss, you are going to fucking hate it by the end of this film. You know how in Top Gun, every time there's some sexual tension between Tom Cruise and the lady who wasn't in Top Gun Maverick, they play Take My Breath Away, but it's only ever like the first few notes. Boom, 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 boom. It's kind of like that. And if that's what they're going for, that's freaking brilliant. That's hilarious to me. But man, they overused that song. It's like my only real gripe with this movie. Because there are a lot of other good songs in this film too, but they really want you to know that, hey, we got Kiss music in this movie. I wonder if Gene Simmons had anything to do with the fact that this song plays so much throughout this movie. I feel like he would do that. But that all aside, this film still met my expectations. This was one of my most anticipated films of this year, and I really enjoyed it. It's a damn shame it's not clicking with people and doing poorly at the box office, because this is the kind of film we want more of. We clamor for original or fresh ideas, but when we get something that's unique, we don't go and support it. Yes, I know technically it's not original, but it's just as original as Barbie was last year, isn't it? I'm just saying. But if you're looking for a great action rom-com, this is definitely one you should check out. I hope you all enjoyed this review, and if you did, please consider hitting that like button, and if you want to see more, hit that subscribe button and ring that bell to be notified when my next review drops. Until next time, I'm Quint Dunaway, hoping you will keep it cinematic.